All
All
right.
right.
Excellent.
Let's see here. Okay. Sweet. So, what's up, people? How we doing? We just wanted to jump on here quick because I know, what was it, about a week ago, we came on and we talked about our journey, kind of how we started and how we got to this point where we're now Rebel Living concierge health coaching. And when we were talking about this afterwards, and talking with some other people, we kind of realized that it might be a little bit confusing because I believe we're the only concierge health coaching company out there. So, wanted to give you a little bit of insight into what concierge coaching actually is, um, and why you should probably have a concierge health coach, to be completely straightforward with you. But more importantly, what it's not, so that you can kind of differentiate between some of the other stuff that you may have heard out there and know whether or not this actually makes sense for you. So that's kind of why we're here, just to give you a little bit of insight, some clarity, and tell you a little bit more about who we are.
Yeah. So, one of the first things that we want to make clear to everybody is what we don't do, right? So you have a bunch of nutrition companies out there and what makes them different and what makes them the same. So what we don't do is we're not just a nutrition company that calculates macros for people and sends them on the way. We don't just put together, a template of fancy fitness routines or meal plans. Like that's the typical nutrition company that you come across when you're looking for companies to work with.
Usually it's something, it's just like, oh, here's quick nutrition, fitness, mindset. And it's easy to kind of put everything into a bubble, and it's too confined. Can't put a square peg into a round hole, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're not just promoting a certain diet. We're really about teaching people, and I think that's where the whole concierge concept comes into play. We've all been on the same journey. We're not these genetic freaks that have perfect bodies and we can lose weight in an instant. Like we all go through these same struggles, and I'll be one to be completely honest. Like my weight can fluctuate, from month to month, and can completely change. But I'm totally fine with that because I'm a normal human being. And we all go through these changes. And I think it's actually important to go through these changes because you learn more and more about your own body when that happens. So we just want to kind of give you an understanding of how we work, why people come to us specifically, and what we can do for you. So Corey, if you want to kind of touch point on what it means to be a concierge coach.
Yeah, the first thing, the most important thing is that it's being taught, not told. And as simple as that may sound, it's really kind of a deep understanding, helping you to be able to understand advanced scientific strategies, but still get unimaginable results. Like you don't necessarily need to dive all the way into the science and go into a rabbit hole of different clinical trials and what they mean and the results and how to read them. But you need someone that can help to translate all of that information, all of that data in a way that's understandable for you so that you can actually apply it. And then to help you with the application of that. It's about knowing the way because we've traveled that road before, right? It's not just a coach where they say, hey, go do this because I said so. It's more of a mentorship where I can help you, or Liz can help you, or any one of our coaches can help you get from A to B because we've gone from A to B. And I think that's one of the main points. In addition to that, it's having results quickly and easily because there's organization to the methodology. It's not something where you can skip steps. you need to learn at each level along the way. So having structure to that, and I've talked about this in videos before, anytime you see success anywhere, it doesn't matter what the industry or what the objective is, it's by way of an organized, systematic process. And that's why it's so important to emphasize that we're not just that diet plan, just that template, just that general fitness program. It's much, much deeper than that. And by going deeper than that, you can actually keep the results. So it's not these fads or these fakes or these crazy diets that are out there that, you know, you're going to lose 100 pounds in 30 minutes, some kind of BS. It's getting results the right way so that you can keep them by following that order of operations. You get lifelong results.
You know, I think it's easy for people to be like, I just want to lose the weight. I don't care how it's done. Just get me to those 20 pounds that I want to lose. But then what they lose sight in is the fact that, yeah, sure, I could get anybody there quickly and tell you exactly this is what you need to do. But unless you know how to sustain it and to keep that lifestyle, you're just going to gain all that weight back. And most likely it'll be plus some, because now your body has gone through this major deficit, lost the weight, and then weight comes on so much quicker than it comes off that you just have this whole snowball effect.
Yeah, you need to be in a sustained state of acclimation if you want to have long-term success. And if you're not there, then you're not going to have that. There's just no other way around it. Failure to plan, planning to fail, right? So it's having that structure, but still there's a lot more to it. I think, you know, for us, I know you agree with me, we've talked about this a million times, but we believe that it goes deeper, and we believe that there's a right way to deliver on that promise, on that mission. And it's having a team of experts that are working around the clock to support and guide you as the client. I don't know everything. It's not hard for me to admit. There are a lot of things that I don't know. Same for you, right?
Absolutely.
So it's important that when there's something that we don't know, that we can turn to someone who does. And that's I think the definition of the concierge model is having a team of experts to be able to support you. You know, it's kind of unique. You think, like, from the perspective of a professional athlete, let's say, right? For me, it's always been a big interest to me. A lot of people are into sports, so we could probably relate to this. But you look at a professional athlete and you're like, well, if I had everything that they had, of course I could perform at that level on a daily basis. Like, they got acupuncture, chiropractor, they got, you know, the trainer wrapping their ankle, the this, the that. They have all of these resources because the team puts that together for them. We're your team now. We put that together for you. All those different things that you're looking here, there, or everywhere for together. And I think the main thing about doing that is that now one of the major gaps, and my background is in healthcare, so I see this on a regular basis. One of the major gaps is practitioners don't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally no coordination of care. I mean, even these major hospital systems, you can say, well, oh, my doctor can pull up my chart because, you know, they're all part of the Northwell network. Yeah, okay. But do they ever talk to each other?
Nope.
Right? So it's like,
I mean,
so how?
I've had times where I've had to go for an appointment that was made for me by the doctor, and they had no idea as to why I was there. I was like, wait, aren't you guys supposed to be communicating? Well, they should just give you a slip and then we'll look at it. And it's like, yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, so then it falls on you. You have to try and remember what Dr. A told you and relay that to Dr. B, and you don't have any clinical training. How are you supposed to explain that? So it becomes one of those situations where it's like, I'm not getting what I need because there's no coordination of care. There's no communication. So now if you have these team of people that are there to support you and they're actually communicating about what support you need and how to deliver that support, then the plan actually makes sense from all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the same time, as important as that is, it can be a little bit overwhelming. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? Good to see you in. it could be a little overwhelming, right? It's like, so there's something called the IKEA effect. This is something that I thought was really cool. I learned about this the other day, which, by the way, if you're working with somebody who's not constantly learning, find somebody new. I don't have any problem saying that publicly, but whoever you're working with, if you're getting guidance from anybody, they should be looking to constantly improve themselves. So I'm reading this book, great book, behavioral psychology, and there's this thing called the IKEA effect. And you can probably guess what it's about. It's about putting things that are difficult together. So along that philosophy, going from not having or feeling the way that you want to getting there, it can be difficult to put it together. So they looked at a couple of different groups of people. They gave people one set of instructions that was pretty easy to get to the path. They gave another people a set of instructions that was difficult, and they gave a third group of people instructions that were difficult but not going to get the job done, right? They were missing steps, so there was no chance of success in that third group. And what they were trying to do is see how much engagement actually led to success and whether the people actually perceived their success as higher because of the amount of engagement that things involve. So you think like, oh man, a real hard effort, no success, that was last on the list, right? It doesn't matter how hard you work. If you don't get there, there's no success. But then you look at the other two groups, you've got the group that works really, really hard and puts a ton of effort into what they're doing and is successful. And you look at the other group who had an easier path to get there, but was also successful. Where was the highest level of satisfaction? It was in the group that had the easier path to get there. And you might say to yourself, well, no, Corey, like we're Americans, we're notoriously lazy, right? But it's not about that. It's about the satisfaction of being able to understand why and how you're doing what you're doing and still get the result. So overcomplicating things is a detriment to the overall satisfaction, the joy that we get out of the process. So yes, there's satisfaction in the effort. That's why you're a part of the process as a client of ours. But we need to identify the littlest hinges that swing the biggest doors so we can get you success in a way that you can actually implement long after you're ever with us. It's about you not having to be with us forever. It's about you learning the process and being able to implement it.
Yeah, 100%. Like we're not looking to teach you to be coaches. We're just looking to teach you enough to be able to continue this on your own after you finish your time with us.
And it's another part too. I mean, science alone, like I talk about the learning and the studying and the clinical trials, but science alone isn't going to make anybody the best coach. I love the science. I'm a big nerd. You do too. We go over this stuff constantly. And we're fortunate to have a team that really is involved in learning and being up to date with the newest science. But that's not going to make you the best coach. There's just no other way to put it. I believe that the science behind our nutrition protocols and our training programs makes them some of the best in the world. But that alone isn't going to get you as a client from A to B. To reality is you could probably Google some really good content if you want to dig deep enough into the internet on a nutrition plan or a workout plan or something like that. But our philosophy and what concierge coaching really means is something deeper than that. It's learning and development through educational conversations. You can't Google what we do. Coaching and mentoring, it's about effective communication on a frequent basis. Mm-hmm. It's about creating a deep connection that actually fosters trust. If you don't trust me, if you don't trust, right? Like if that's not there, you've got nothing really. It's about being transparent and honest enough to hold you accountable and instilling a belief in yourself and in the process. Without those things, there's no chance of you having success no matter how great the science is, right? So all of these things really need to be developed, and it's only when you have them all working harmoniously, a beautiful symphony of all of these things, that the program actually works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's really part of that whole IKEA effect. Like human beings thrive on doing progress towards a meaningful aim, towards a worthy aim. That's the key to happiness. So yes, we want to challenge you. If we don't challenge you, if your coach doesn't challenge you, then you're doing you a disservice, quite frankly. But at the same time, if it's too difficult, like I said before, it doesn't get you there. So the whole point of this is to create a balance. Have your coach help you navigate all of the scientific info to find balance between knowledge and application, right? And so that's ultimately what, to us, I believe concierge really is.
Hmm. I mean, the beauty, what it comes down to is the beauty of it all is you have an entire team that is communicating, that knows exactly what your main coach has been working on with you. And then every other coach is in sync with that, so that when a problem does arise, you can go to any one of those coaches and they'll know exactly what's happening. And they'll be able to coach you through that problem without having to say, hold on, let me go call up Liz, or let me go ask Corey, because I'm really not sure what you're talking about. We're always in communication with each other, knowing where you are, what the problem is, what your goal is, and where you want to be by the end of your time with us.
One of the things when I first started working on Wall Street, which was a former life, one of the things that someone suggested to me was to grab Think and Grow Rich and read that. And there's a snippet in there about Andrew Carnegie, who was the first millionaire in the United States. And he owned the company US Steel. And he was interviewed early on in his career when he first hit that benchmark to be ultra successful there. And someone was like, how do you know so much about steel to become this successful, the first millionaire in the United States? And he's like, I don't know that much about steel, but, and this is the key part, I know a lot of people that do. And he built a team of smart people around him to be able to deliver on what it was he set out to deliver, which is why we've gone ahead and done that, which is also why it's important for you to have a coach. If you have a goal to get somewhere, to go blindly, I just did a video about this earlier, to be honest. To go blindly is insane. Mm-hmm. Like, could you imagine hopping on a plane and being like, all right, I'm going to fly this thing, right?
Wherever I go, I land.
Well, not even that, but like, imagine actually being the pilot, right? Like, I'm going to just figure this out. I can probably get there. I've seen a few movies, like, let me do this. No, like if you're going somewhere, you let the expert guide you, right? You let the expert fly the airplane. You let the expert coach you and lead you to navigate all that craziness. And I think it aligns with, so one of my favorite quotes of all time relates really strongly to what we're talking about and why it's important to have a coach. And it goes like this: holding people accountable is uncomfortable, which it is. Like if you have to tell somebody that they're screwing up, that's a difficult conversation to have. And I've had that conversation with clients, and it's always like, hey, we need to talk. And it's like, uh-oh. It's almost like, if you have like a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend back in the day and you get the, hey, we need to talk text. That's not an easy one to send either, especially when you're working with somebody who's paying you. But it's not about just, paying me to get results or paying Liz to get results. We appreciate that, but we don't necessarily, fortunately, we're in a place where we don't necessarily need to just bring on everybody. It's about having the right fit, right? So when we go through the process, we identify people that we can hold accountable because of how uncomfortable it can be. So you build that relationship and that trust and that communication. So anyway, back to the point of the quote: holding people accountable is uncomfortable. But what's worse is having people fail because you won't coach, you won't confront, and you won't correct them. Accountability is something you do for someone, not to someone. And I think that's the major key to all of this is knowing that not only do you have a team of people that are going to hold you accountable, but you have a team of people that you could put your trust and your faith in to know that no matter what the question is, there will be an answer, and it will be a coordinated community effort to helping you be the most successful version of yourself that you possibly can be.
I
That's what
love
it
that
is to
quote.
me.
I think that quote's perfect.
It's awesome. So good. I wish I had thought of it myself, but I didn't. So I'm working on that. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I think, I think there are other things that make us unique to other companies, but I think, the real thing comes down to, why we do this, the fact that we have a team of experts, the fact that it's not just that cookie cutter, it's so much more than that. So if you're a part of our crew, if you're a part of the tribe, we love you for that. And thank you. And we hope that you're enjoying the benefits of the concierge coaching. We're seeing tremendous results from a lot of people. If you're not, humbly, sort of not really humbly, but honestly, I don't believe that there's a better option for you out there. And if you're on the fence or if you have a question about it, I think the best thing that you could do for yourself is just ask. Because again, it's not necessarily the best fit for us either. So, what we need to do is see, does this make sense for you? Does this make sense for us? Can we help you get to where you're going? It's not a for everybody. The circumstances have to be right, but when this does make sense for you, when the circumstances are right, and when you're a good fit for our program, there's nothing that's going to get you better information in a more applicable way to get you results quicker that you actually have for the rest of your life. Simple as that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing you can do is not ask questions. So if you have questions about anything that we do, anything that we post, that we talk about, bring them up. That's what we're here for. And that's why we have you guys in this group, is because we want to be able to answer those questions for you. So
hit us up.
Yep.
Drop your questions below. We'll answer them. Whatever it is, we got you. Just let us know.
Got it. Well, I think we're good.
See you guys soon.
All right.
First, I got to figure out how to turn this off, to be honest. So one of the things that I mentioned that I need help with is technology stuff. Liz bounced on me. She's not even helping me here.